Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Jeremy Canner's Ohio Prospecting, and this is the cabin build. But I don't think we're gonna make it out there today. Instead, I think we'll stay in today, since there's 4.5 feet of snow out at the property, and the driveway's completely filled up out there, so there's no way to get in there right now. But until I do, I guess we'll practice doing some notches. And I got you something I want to show you guys that I built for working out at the property so we can mill logs down. Let's get to that and I'll show you. So I've built this right here. This is for chainsaws. I have a variety of sizes of chainsaws. We have an 18-inch there. I have a 14 right there. Plus out at the property we have another 18 and a couple of 20s, 22s. You name it, we got it. But I got all kinds of different chainsaws that I could be running on this, and I've made it to be able to go on either side. As you can see, I've lined up a bolt, a piece of dowel rod that goes all the way through that I had bolts and washers that actually fit on there pretty good. Got lucky on that. And yeah, I filed this down so that way when I put the chainsaw on this side, it's got a nice resting place. Plus I have to strap it down. And I seen a way where you can make this self-propelled by hooking up like a huge rubber band out of cutting tire. So if you cut like the round of the tire, you can make a big old rubber band out of it, supposedly. So let's see. I got a few of those sitting around out back, so I will make something the next few days or so that way I can cut a huge rubber band out of that to see if it's possible and see if it works like he says it does. Anyways, when you set the saw up on this, you have the rubber band and you have different placements down the way where you can stretch the rubber band to, so that way it has tension on it. And when you start the saw up and let it run on its own, you'll have time. So once you see it start slowing down, you just move the placement. And in the meanwhile, you'll have time to work on other things. So yeah, let me show you what the chainsaw looks like on it real quick. And then we'll get to doing some notching. Then the chainsaw bolts on there just like this, using a 14mm socket or a 14mm wrench, which you'll need both, so that way you can handle both sides. Because on that side I have the dowel rod extended out even further, so I could do other things. But yeah, this is one of the ways you can hook it up. Then you set it up like this, strap it down while it's running, and that gives me about 9 to 10 inch drop so I can flatten the sides of logs. This isn't to make planks, not this saw individually anyways, but I got the 18-inch over there which I could use for making planks, which all I gotta do is drill the hole in that one. Or I could use a 22-inch, which really doesn't matter actually. I have them all, so use what we got. But let's get back over here to that and be right back with you guys. Let me get this all taken down and out of the way. All right, so now we're down to the part where I need to get the bark off of this. So I'm gonna use this pickaxe that I actually modified on the end slightly to debark with. And yes, it does work. I've used it out in the field. I've made a mess and I got one cleaned off. The other one's still got the bark on it. And what I'm going to do next is we're going to take the hand planer over there and we're going to use it to shave down the sides on this, flatten down the top, same on the other sides. We're going to make a nice square even board out of this, and we're going to do the same out of that, and I'll be right back. Be my first one to use. and this does take a while. So I'll speed up the process. Maybe we'll put it in time lapse real quick. I'll tell you, working on a smaller piece like this is definitely more of a pain than working on a bigger log that's heavier and got weight on it. And I don't have like a table vise or anything like that to work with. So we got to do everything the hard way. Yeah, I know you guys. Why don't you go out and get a vise? Well, I don't got that kind of money. I don't live in California and make $300,000 a year. Live in Ohio. So essentially it's starting to get a little bit flatter and more like a 2x4. So we're getting there. I got to do that side still and that side, but that side's starting to look better. This side's horrible, but we'll get those sides good. And yeah, this does get gummed up a little bit with shavings. You do have to keep moving them out of the way all the time. That's a little bit of a pain too. So it is a lot easier to do this out at the woods, where I got everything all set up for it. But with the circumstances that I got dealt, it is what it is. So we're gonna keep working at this, get it all fine-tuned down the way I want. And then we're gonna carve this into the male. I want to call it a square peg because I don't really know all the names for all these. My dad knows the names of the notches and all that stuff, but I'd have to sit there and pick his brain at it. I just call it a square peg notch. We're going to make that square on the end right here, nice and skinny, to fit into this, which we're going to put a square hole on. So this will fit tightly into there at an angle like that. Kind of almost like a 45. That's one of the notches we're going to be practicing amongst a few others. I'll practice on other days. But let's get there. Whoops. Like I said, every once in a while they get stuck in there. Flip it back out. Yeah, I keep creating new ways to do this as I go. There's a knot right there, so it keeps getting caught on it. But we're getting that side pretty good. Let's move you guys around. All right, so what I've done here, shave it all down, as you can see. Oh, hard to do one-handed. I didn't work on both ends. I just got the one end done, as you can see. This actually used to be a chop of wood for a fireplace, but now it looks like a 2x4 almost. So what I'm going to do, take the saw, because it is 10:30 at night, can't use power tools. And we're going to cut some lines right across here, and we're going to shave this into a little notch, into a little like peg. About maybe a inch and a half by an inch and a half, just so we got something easy to work with while we're putting it into that one over there. I still have to flatten one side on that. The rest of the sides don't matter. And then I got to drill some holes and use those chisels over there to clean out the square notch. And I'll be right back with you guys after we get this all squared up right here. As you can see, back at it. I'm going to have to do that a few more times all the way to the end, then around each side and the other side, and then knock all those little pieces off and flatten it with the chisel. Be right back. Just waiting for the wife to come down and, what's that noise? All right. Yeah, maybe I should move this out of the way. I have a smaller little hand planer right there that I can use to clean that all up, which is what I'm going to do next. And I'm going to get this all finished up, squared around the rest of the way. Here, let's take a little bit of a close-up. As you can see, I'm going to do that all the way around, clean it all up, make it look nice, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, and yeah, it's the next day. And I finally got that all cut out and finished. Yeah, I did mess up on that notch part on the bottom a little bit, but that's fine. This is a practice piece. What matters is it's got the angle on it, and I've got the other piece here. I've done debarked it, as you can tell. And these lines on the side of it here are the markup for this. Oh, as you can see, we're gonna drill some holes first over on this part of the wood where I've marked it out at. I am gonna flatten this first real quick, and then we'll remark that, just to make it a little bit easier and better. So let me do that, and then I'll mark it all back out, get the drill holes all started, and then we'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, got both pieces all ready, and as you can tell, that one's at an angle. It's kind of hard to tell, but it angles down in there. And you take this piece like this, put that one in there like that, and that's about how it would go in. Then we use our other hand, hold the hammer, hold the camera. It's kind of hard to do with two hands. Give it a couple good taps. Now it's in there. And I didn't quite get my angles quite right, as you can see on there. But you would also be drilling a hole through the side through both pieces, so that way you could peg it together. And there would be a beam going across the top here. And it would be going across this way, and this would extend out the rest of the way and have another pegged in like that at the other end, but further out. And then you'd have your big beam going across the top. This would be your big beam coming down. That's just a little bit of a practice. Not bad. I don't have the experience for timber framing my dad has, but I've picked up some stuff along the way. We're just gonna do it together. Let's see what we can get done. All right, that's all I got time for on this one. I'll see you guys out at the creek. Yeah, we're going. I don't care what the weather's like.